Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Good morning to you, Lori. How are you?
I'm doing great, Lauren. By the way, do you feel like February just flew, or January flew by and it's February already? I was looking at the date and thinking, okay, how did that happen exactly? Because I was thinking, well, we're getting into the new year. I'm like, no, we're committed at this point.
Yeah, definitely a commitment. We're almost at the end of February. I almost feel like next week is Valentine's Day. It's insane.
Well, I remember my mother saying, and maybe anybody in the audience ever heard this, or I don't know, maybe it was just my mother, but she said the older you get, the faster time flies. I must be really, really old, okay?
You and me both.
That's the way it is. Well, anyway, I see our numbers are coming in. We've got an exciting day, a real exciting day, because we got our special guest. We always got special guests, but today we got our special guest on. So I'm going to let you get going so we can start rolling, okay?
Beautiful. So let me go ahead and quickly share my screen.
And we're seeing it. You're good.
Okay, good. You know that was going to be my question to you. Good morning again, everyone. My name is Lauren Simpson. I'm with the SBDC, or the Small Business Development Center. We are a national program with over 1,000 locations across the country, and we offer no-cost services to local small businesses. Now, our services are at no cost to you, the small business, because your tax dollars have already taken care of our fees. For the Los Angeles network, we represent the counties of Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, and Ventura. You can see those, the centers located on, our center locations represented on the map in front of you. You'll see we have centers in Camarillo, Santa Clarita, all the way over to Pasadena and Laverne, throughout Los Angeles, over in the South Bay, all the way down to Long Beach. Here's why you need to get in contact with us. We offer, again, no-cost business advising, no-cost services to local small businesses. Now, when it comes to our business advising, we have access to experts and the goddess. You'll learn more about that later, but you have access to experts, business experts who have expertise in the areas of finance and taxes, as well as marketing. If you're a handyman looking to go into construction, we can help you with that transition. You might even be lucky enough to sit with our very own guru of all numbers, Miss Lori Williams. And we also offer virtual trainings, much like the show that you've joined today. Our trainings are very comprehensive, and they are built to assist you in adapting and growing your business. So again, I already mentioned get in contact with us. Please get in contact with us. We're looking forward to working with you and assisting you on your entrepreneurial journey. Now, if you would like to reach out to us via phone, go to 866-588-7232 or online, smallbizla.org/new client. If you've reached us outside of our service area, which means that your business is located outside of the Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, or Ventura counties, please go to americassbdc.org/find your SBDC. Now, I'm going to quickly stop my screen share.
Let's see. Lauren, are you going to go over the opportunity grant as well? I couldn't get that out today. Can you also, I know we've been mentioning that every week, but I'd like to keep consistently bringing that up. Can you just quickly go through, like you did last week, where people can find information? Because I really want to emphasize that a lot of what you may have as a question is found within this website. There's videos, tutorials. I mean, unlike some of the previous grants where you had an application, but you didn't know where else to go for information, I feel, and Lauren, you can tell me what your thoughts are, I feel like we're pretty inclusive on this website. You go to this website, you're going to have everything at your fingertips. So I'll let you take it from there.
1,000%, Lori. So you will go to, I'll put the URL into the chat. This is the landing page. So when you click the URL that I put in the chat, it'll lead you to this landing page here. It is the Economic Opportunity Grant Program, or EOG is the acronym. And it's brought to you by the Department of Economic Opportunity, or County of Los Angeles. You'll notice when you land here that there is a homepage button which is where you are. There's prepare to apply and then get help. These are going to be your best friends. I'm going to scroll just a little bit, quick tour of the site. We are currently in phase one. Phase one is for micro businesses. So those are those businesses that have made less than 50,000. Here it is here in annual gross revenue. And then the grants are up to about 2,500 for this phase one. Now for phase two, which opens February 23rd, that criteria, let me scroll a little bit, is listed here. Okay, so phase one, phase two. Currently we're in phase one, and phase one will go until the funds are exhausted. Phase two begins February 23rd. So what is that, 2 weeks almost, Lori? And we'll be into phase two. That'll be for small businesses and nonprofits. And then if you continue to scroll here, you'll see a little bit more information as to the partners here who are part of this program. You can also sign up to get updates. So if you are not eligible for phase one and you know for sure you want info on phase two, you can click here. And then if I scroll back up, Lori, I'm going to go to prepare to apply. You click that tab and it dives into your application checklist. There's also information related to eligibility. Here it is for phase one, again for phase two. Ineligible entities, this is very important for those businesses who weren't sure if they qualify or not for phase one. We've got it listed. Phase two will be added later on once phase two opens, of course. Required documentation. And if I just continue to go, you'll see this section here. We're here to help. When you click this allows you to see application guide, so it can guide you through the application process. If you know for sure you just want to reach out to someone and ask a question, you can call this number here, 833-364-7268. Email support, you click here, and then tech support. The difference between phone support and tech support, Lori, is that phone support are for those who are inquiring about the program. Tech support are for those who have started their application and literally are having some technological difficulties getting through. So whether the web page isn't rendering or they're trying to proceed to the next step and they can't, that's going to be the big determinant there. And then if I go up here to click help, you'll scroll and you'll see that we have info sessions. So Lori, I'm not going to belabor it. Everyone can dive into this site, but really quickly, I wanted to share that when you click this button here, you are able to then register for one of our informational sessions. Now we have trainings running weekly, Monday through Thursday at noon. Monday and Wednesday at noon are sessions in Spanish, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays are sessions in English. And so we have those two languages for now, but please know that if I go all the way up, this website can be converted into 14 different languages. So you find the language that you're fluent with and would better understand the information that's on this website, click it, and then it's translated. I unfortunately do not speak this language, so I cannot read what's happening here. But those of you that can, you can. And so you just, again, if you look at this tab over here on the left-hand side, you can go back to English, and here we are.
Yep. Perfect. It's very impressive how well it's done. And so many of the questions, like I said, that was asked previous, are all answered. Eligibility, ineligibility. Just want to make a notation, Lauren, about the fact that we have some in the LA County and some just specific to the city of LA. So that's one thing you're going to want to need to check out. And just as a general notation, because I've been asked this a lot in the last couple of weeks about grants specifically, and I just want to kind of let the audience have an awareness that prior to COVID, you really didn't have an abundance of grants that were just applied across businesses in general, meaning you got a grant that usually went to a nonprofit for what they would call a social good. You're in an at-risk area and you're building a school, or you're, trying to do some kind of experimentation to make water better to, be consumed, etc. So it's really after the COVID that these grants that are more across all businesses at a lower micro amount have come into play. And my translation for bringing this up is, it doesn't mean that there's an abundance of them, and we don't know how long they will be available. So you don't want to get into the mindset that this is going to be a continuous operational, situation. I don't know when they're going to come and when they're going to end, but I have to believe at some point these won't be in existence. So you want to really pay attention when we say they're available, because they're all tied to a limited budget. And the minute the funds are done, it's done, just like California Dream. So I just wanted to bring that up so we have an awareness of that as well. So thank you so much for sharing that. We're going to take the first couple minutes of the show until we get into it, because I don't want anybody that's just getting on new, which we have every week, to miss out on knowing about those. And then I'm going to just quickly go through a few slides. Nothing really new from last week, except for I finally got my dates correct for those of you who saw last week. So speaking of different opportunities, Lauren's going to put the information in the chat. These slides are just to give you a view of what I'm speaking about. They're going to have a learning how to do business with the Port of Long Beach for those who want to do business with the port. Now, this is an in-person workshop on February 16th. There's certain things you have to bring with you, etc. And Lauren's got that information to anybody who wants to know. Now, also, where I'm getting a lot of questions about being registered as a minority or disadvantaged business owner, please contact us if you have any questions about that as well. It does have some benefits. I like to express that, basically you want to go about doing business and hoping that maybe it will help you rather than build a business on these. So it's kind of another method you're using to marketing and grow your business. And I might have a show coming up, Lauren, where we just kind of talk a little bit about the certification and what you can do and how it helps you. I might go forth with that. So this is the slide that I finally got my dates right. Thank you so much for letting me know. So I have my financial literacy series starting up this month in a couple weeks, and it's been really a winner. I got to say, I get people going through it and they've learned a lot. They're starting to look at their company different, look at their numbers, which is very dear to my heart. Session 2 and Session 3 are the ones where I delve into learning performance measurements, the kind of calculations you need to understand and do consistently to know the profitability of your company. I always tell people it's not about how much sales you have, it's how profitable you are that matters. And I'm bringing back my legal structure. What's the best legal structure for your company? What are the tax advantages? That was another winner that I came up with, and it's just because so many people have incorrect information about legal structures, especially going from a sole prop to an LLC, thinking there's a tax advantage when it's really the same. So I started that just as an overview so people can make the decision with a little bit more information. Upcoming shows next week, I have Sebastian, who is also an advisor at the SBDC, specifically the Pasadena SBDC. And I've asked Sebastian to come on and talk about specifically microloans and other funding options. We had the wonderful guest, both Nate several times, as well as Keith several weeks ago, where we talked about financing options for your company. And each time we covered the traditional bank loans, the SBA loans, and delved a little bit into the micro loans and the funding options for people who can't get bank loans, et cetera. I told Sebastian, I want to start there. I want the conversations to start there, because I know a lot of people in the audience, they're looking at just borrowing a little bit, like say under 50,000, or they can't get a loan and they're just figuring out how to cover cash flow in a small time period. So that's where our conversation is going to begin. The week after that, Holly Eve was one of the very first guests, really close to when I started the show. And she came on and she talked about Madame Lemmy, which is a natural deodorant. Well, Holly's been at this game for a while. She'll have to remind me how long, but I think it's been at least 3-4 years, because I've been with her, helping her since then, if not a little bit longer. And I just spoke with her yesterday and asked her to come back on. And I said, I'm really running this theme in from people who've been in business for a while saying, well, what do I know now that I wish I knew then? And she said, finally reaching profitability. I finally got there. This is what I want to talk about. This is what I want to share. And I also have a full March lineup that I'll be talking about next week. So that's the upcoming exciting shows that are in the horizon. Now, speaking of today, and this person is so famous, she actually needs no introduction. So I am just going to say, I want to say a warm, happy welcome to Debra, the goddess of social media and all other things. Debra, thank you for coming back on the show. There she is.
Hi.
Debra has such a following. Normally, you guys know I go through this whole introduction and I tell people where they come from, what they do. And with Debra, I'm just saying, Debra, you take us, and I know you've got a lot of fans already on the show, but the people who haven't met you, I wanted the words coming from you. Give us a little bit about your background, what you advise on, and also please include any upcoming programs that our audience can get involved with, because you're doing a lot of really cool stuff. So I'm going to let you tell us about it.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. I always love being on the show with you. You're such an amazing and inspirational person. Every time I'm on the show, I learn something great and new about you. So yes, I am so happy to be back because, my favorite topic is always marketing and mindset. My background is actually my bachelor's degree is in marketing and my master's is in education psychology, which what better combination? I used to think, am I even using my degree? I'm like, wait a minute, I'm teaching people how to sell, the psychology of selling. Yes, I am using my degree, right? And when I'm not here at the SBDC, I actually do keynote speaking. So I'm finally, those of you that are small business owners on here that have been in business for a while can relate to this, finally going back on the road. So next week, I'm going to be in San Diego, or the week after that in San Diego, doing a keynote speech for a swimming conference. I'm teaching them the mindset for leadership success. So when I'm not teaching small businesses marketing, I teach corporations, and I have some great corporations, Verizon, Procter & Gamble, JP Morgan, Procter & Gamble, that have all come to me through organic social media. And that's what I teach you. I didn't name myself a goddess. People would be like, you're my guru. I'm like, no, I'm not a guru. And then like, you're my goddess. I'm like, okay, SMG for short. But basically part of what I do at the SBDC, I work with wonderful centers like Pasadena. I see Annie on here, and Long Beach, and also Ventura County, is really helping you get clarity on what your goals are, helping you get clarity on where your target market is spending their time so you're on the right platforms, and then helping you create content. One of the new webinars that I now offer through Pasadena and Long Beach is a content creation webinar where I'm actually taking you hands-on in Canva and I'm giving you a template. It's kind of like, I think of myself kind of like as like if I was your food or fitness coach. If I gave you, the exercise, but I didn't give you the nutrition, you're not going to be successful, right? So I'm giving people the idea and the concepts of social media strategy, but then they also need to know how to implement it and get into action. So what I'm doing now is I'm teaching these Canva classes where I'm able to show people how to do it. And Monday, this is this kind of post. Tuesday, and we could talk about that because it's been really well received. So we're doing a part 2.
Now, are you offering because I'm wondering if Annie's on, does Annie got access to the link, or we want to get that?
I'm sure she does. Yeah.
I figured it was through Annie. So Annie, we're going to leave it to you. Put that in the chat because we want everybody to be able to sign up with that with Debra. You give wonderful, wonderful trainings. And then also on a mindset, here's an interesting thing. So Debra, I know over the holidays, you were on a road trip. You got to go all kinds of places and you took a little bit of time to unplug. So during those times, I know myself, I always kind of reflect and I start to think of the past year. I think of the new year, what I want to achieve. And I also tend to spend time thinking about just clients in general and business. And I start wandering with my mind on what is it that if I could convey for people personally? What could I help them to do better at mentally as they're dealing with the financials? How can I train people? I ask these interesting questions because I know the minute I say finance, people are like, ah. So I'm always going inside and trying to, figure it out. And then I always ask myself, well, what do I think my clients are dealing with emotionally? What's this year going to be all around about? And I know that you probably were thinking some of the same. So I'm just going to say, Deborah, what's on your mind? What have you thought about? Where are your thoughts? How's that? Just let's chat. I told everybody in the audience, I told Deborah, we got the no plan again because my no plan as an interviewer is going great. We're just going to chat. So Deborah, what's on your mind?
Yeah, and I would be open for questions too. If anybody wanted to put questions in the Q&A, I'd be open for that as well. Well, as we start out 2023, everyone gets gung-ho on their New Year's resolutions. They get gung-ho on their goals and they go forward and they have all the best intentions. And then usually around this time is when people fall off, right? It's like, okay, I said I was going to post certain times of week, or I said I was going to do this, or I said I was going to do that. And then what happened? I think what's really, really important for small businesses, especially many of us are micro solopreneurs, not even having a whole big team, is to really set yourself up for success by having some sort of a plan. And when I say a plan, when I work with people one-on-one, we actually create a social media marketing strategy, and then we create a content calendar. What I'm finding that people fall off with is they just say, well, I'm just going to post every day, but what are you going to post? One of the things I teach in the content creation workshops is the specific types of posts we need to do to convert to sales. If you want, I can go over what those are.
I'm interested. I'm going to ask you that, and I'm going to ask you to back up on something you said a minute ago too, Deborah. We're both about the same age. You're younger than me, I think. But
no, I think we're the same exact age.
Now, I remember when I went to college, all we ever talked about was the word strategy. Well, I went to business school, so it was strategy. Deborah, I feel like in the last, maybe couple decades, the word strategies kind of has fallen to the wayside and people don't think as strategically. Now, you said we create a strategy, and right away, I was agreeing with you, and my little mind said, we need to define strategy. We need to go back and answer a simple question. What is strategy, and what's your thoughts and how you get strategy? So that's my number one. And then I do want to go into what post convert, but I think before we just say get a strategy, we got to talk about what the word strategy even means.
Yes. Okay. So I think I was born strategic. When I was in the crib, I was thinking, how can I escape? You know what I mean? So my end goal is to be outside, like my puppy's trying to be outside of his little area right now. He's like, me. Relax. Okay. And that was me when I was a little baby. How can I strategically get out of here or get my parents to hold me? I don't want to be trapped here. So what we need to do when we're strategic is think with the end in mind. What do we want people to do? Strategy is we're reverse engineering, but we need to know our goals, right? We're not just a tactical way of doing things. Oh, I just need to post on all the social media platforms. I see a lot of small businesses. They literally have every logo, Twitter, Vine that doesn't even exist anymore, Pinterest, they have everything. And they're just like, if I just tactically on the to-do list post, then I'm going to get business. Strategically is you're asking yourself, where do my ideal target market spend their time? And this is the strategy, is ideal. It's not your current clients that may be a pain in your neck or driving you crazy or wanting to negotiate or not paying on time or haggling or whatever the issue is. What we're doing with marketing is we're focused on the clients we actually desire, what we want. That's the strategy. So if we want people that have a certain disposable income, if we want people that are interested in a certain thing, if we want people that need our product or service, that our product or service literally is solving their pain and problem. So the strategy is to start off with number one, knowing your target market, right? Every single marketing class you're ever going to go to, they're going to say, well, who's your ideal customer? Who's your avatar? Who is that? They always talk about that. Why? Because knowing that enables you to have the copy, the graphics, the positioning, the messaging strategically to be the solution. When you do that, you're not going to have to sell. People are going to see your product, your service as the solution. Oh, I have bags under my eyes. You have a cream that gets rid of the bags. Fantastic. Have you spent, like, say it's you where you have a product, do you spend a lot of time in the sun? Are you at a particular age where the fine lines are being revealed? Well, we've got this great product. It does this, it does that. I have a client that has a pill that helps people that are doing water sports, that, forget to reapply their sunscreen. So to make sure that they're protected. I was like, oh, wow, what a great idea for the busy people that do water sports to do that, right? So strategy is really thinking with the end in mind. It's really having the goals set up so that every task that you're doing with social media achieves the goals. Because almost everybody, Lori, comes on the call with me and they're like, Debra, I have to admit, I hate social media. Almost everybody. I don't even like it. I don't even do it for myself. And I'm like, that's fine. You do not need to like social media, but you know what you do like? Funds. You like money. You like funds, right? So if I could show you how to make creating funds fun, would you do it, right? And it will be enjoyable once money comes in. My first $60,000 contract that I had with Verizon that came through YouTube, that was fun. That was unexpected. I'm like, you're hiring me without me auditioning. I don't need to do an interview. Are you telling me that YouTube is my sales gal, sales girl, sales guy, whatever you want to call it? YouTube sold me. You know what I mean? It worked for me. And that's what we want our social media to do. We want it to be selling our product or service when we're in a business meeting, when we're doing something else. It's an extension of our brand. So that's what strategy is about. Thinking with the end in the mind, having our goals aligned so that everything that you post is getting people to understand the problem you solve.
Or, I had a webinar or seminar. It was an on-site seminar, and then I did turn it into a webinar. And the name of it was "Begin with the End in Mind." So I totally get where you're going with that. So you mentioned product and service. What I get is a lot of people asking questions or making a belief statement, Debra, where they go, "Well, social media works for products, but it does not work for services."
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And I don't believe, I'm not the social media person you are, but I got to believe that maybe there is a little bit of a different thought process when you figure out how the messaging is. But I got to believe it works for both, because I know even before, social media was big, I did my marketing with my services. So let's talk for a second and just be really kind to those people who have service businesses that think out of the box when we talk about social media. Let's, Debra, direct your conversation to service businesses, right?
And I mean, I'm a service business. I provide speaking services, consulting services, and I have used organic social media for over 21 years. So yes, and I'll give you an example. So there's a woman, she's a financial consultant. Her name is Eva Macias, if you want to follow her on Instagram. She's fantastic. What she does, and she did this yesterday, she just went on Instagram Live and she was like, I just think it's really interesting how people prioritize. I was talking to this mother and she was saying she couldn't afford life insurance. And she just started like having a conversation with us. And I was like, I thought she was really talking to me. She was like, hi, Latinx speaker. She's like saying hi to everyone. She's like, it really baffles my mind when you think about your future and your legacy. And she just did this whole conversation, basically selling all of us on giving us the case of why we all needed life insurance, and it would be doing our children an injustice if we, to pay for the funeral costs if we didn't have life insurance, whatever. And I was like, wow, she was really good. And what she does is once a week to sell her service on Instagram, she does a Wealthy Wednesday. And she goes live. It's really fantastic. She goes live for 20 minutes and she literally does a workshop. Sometimes she has a whiteboard and she'll be like, today we're going to talk about compound interest, or today we're going to talk about investment and real estate and how you can have today we're going to talk about mutual, like she just educates us on. And then she says, everyone's here. She has a lead magnet, right? Do you guys know what I mean when I say lead magnet? It's a way of getting people from her Instagram Live to your email list. This is something you absolutely want. Why do you want it? Why do you want it? I'm a new mother. It's not easy. It's not easy being a new mother. Why do you want it? Because if you leave people on Instagram, Instagram owns your people, right? You
Right.
want people to be on your email list.
Yeah,
Why?
I want to know how she does it. I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know.
So how she does it is she'll say, you know, by the way, everyone that's on here, her target market is Latina professionals. I'm her target market. So she says, I wrote a book, The 7 Keys to Wealth for Latinas, and you can have it free. Go to and she has in her bio, she used to use Linktree. Now she just has on her website different links. So she leads people right to the lead magnet. This is so important. So you don't want to lead people randomly to your website because they have too many options. They could go there and leave. You want to be like CVS at checkout that says, "Oh, are you a CVS member? You save a certain percentage. What's your CVS number?" You have to capture them. So social media, you make them aware, but then you have to capture them. So she gets them onto this list. She got me on this list for ebook. And then once a week, she'll send us information. "Oh, would you like to come to my financial boot camp? It's 8 weeks and we're only allowing 20 people, and then she's upselling that. And then once you're at her boot camp, she offers you her consultation services, right? So do you see? But what she's doing, and then that's not just all she does on her social media. I'll just give you her like weekly strategy. Once a week, she'll do a live where she'll show you that she knows what she's talking about. And because her target market now is more mothers, because she's a new mother, sometimes she'll have her baby or she'll just be talking about the needs of mothers because, that's who her target is. Another day of the week, she'll educate you on some financial principle you didn't know. Do you know if you keep your money in a savings account, this is how much you have? If you put your account in a mutual fund, this is, what I mean? She'll just educate you. Then another post will just talk about maybe something particular for Latina women, right? So that's her brand. She's saying that she knows, as Latinas, we're always doing this, or she'll have something maybe funny so that she shows, the uniqueness of her brand and that she understands her unique target market. Some of you may be thinking, wow, she's really narrowing. She could really help everyone. Why would she only want to work with women or only want to work with Latinas? When you niche, and this is something that I think out of all my 21 years of business that I learned, the harder way, because I didn't want a niche. I wanted to be motivational speaker general for all. But as a general motivational speaker or as a general financial consultant, I'm competing with Tony Robbins. I'm competing with Les Brown, right? You can't compete when you're like that. But when you focus and you laser target an audience, even a brand like Coca-Cola will laser target an audience. Maybe they'll target kids, or maybe they'll target a certain group, right? When we laser target, we're able to identify what are the pains and problems in that group and how our service business solves that pain or problem. So Eva Macias is masterful at doing that.
Yeah. It strikes me about what you're saying too. And I say this a lot to people, sometimes with even their marketing, they're thinking, how can I reach out here and follow me, acting as if they need 1 million clients or customers when they only need this many for their income, right? And so in actuality, even with her niching, the marketplace is huge compared to the capacity that she has within herself and the amount she would need to create her own personal income. So I think there's almost like a win-win. The niching, and the word that's coming to my mind, Debra, as you're speaking, is allowing the audience to resonate so strongly with her that it probably has a high conversion, and the isn't harming her because she doesn't need. And I think, that old expression, throw the spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks.
No,
that is
right.
And I think sometimes people are doing, and you'll know because you work in this world, but it seems like I see people do a little bit of Instagram, a little bit of Facebook, a little bit of this, and they end up being no great presence because they're spread.
Exactly. I tell people, I rather have you focus on 2 or maximum 3 platforms, laser and go deep, than be on all these platforms, do a little bit, sprinkle, and go wide. And you said something that was so important, the key word, resonance. One of the ways that you're going to convert, going back to your question of conversion, is to resonate, is relatability. This is why so many people got on TikTok because they felt that it was more relatable, because it was more real, it was more authentic, it was not as contrived and curated and filtered and fake as Instagram. I personally like Instagram. I'm still on Instagram. I personally don't really trust TikTok for many reasons, but that's just me. I mean, I know I teach TikTok. I know it does work for many, many people. It's just a personal preference. I'm not into it, but resonance is so important. And when you niche your niche, not just niching, when you niche your niche. So your niche would be, people interested in financial services, and your niche could be women, but her niche is Latina women who are making six figures or more over 40, right? I know her niche, right? And we have a very similar niche because I am like in her niche. So it's really awesome because I can follow her followers and know that they're my niche too, that there'll be people that
Yeah.
will hire me, right? So
Right.
that's kind of how we're connected.
Well, what's interesting is last week we had Emma Green on, and I don't think you've met Emma. I think you have, right? You've worked with Emma Green. Pretty sure that you have now. Tennis elbow queen. Yeah, I think I thought maybe you did.
No.
So Emma has built her customer base through Facebook. And what's interesting
Cool.
is really she built it a lot through Facebook. And what I am noticing is that people have a predominant place that they seem to end up getting most from. So Debra, I know this is like the $1 million hard question. Say that I came to you or somebody comes to you and says, Debra, I don't have time and I don't like it. How do I pick one to focus on? So is there any rules of the game at all? Like if I'm this, go here, if I'm this, go there. If I only want to do one and one only, how do you help me decide?
Well, I would never put all my eggs in one basket because here's the deal. I'll give you an example. The client that I just hung up with, that was very, very successful last year with Facebook ads. I think like $250,000 in revenue from Facebook ads. But what happened with Facebook ads? They changed. Everything got changed when Apple, didn't let them follow with cookies, and everything that was working didn't work. And that's why Facebook laid off and is continuing to lay off a lot of people, as well as artificial intelligence, taking jobs. We'll talk about that later. So if you put all your eggs, or like if you put all your eggs in Instagram, last week, hot off the press, Annie, take a note. Oh my God. They just decided, because Kylie Jenner, a Kardashian girl, complained to the CEO of Instagram that they were, favoring too many reels. So now they went back to allowing people that have posts to get visibility, right? So I would never put all of my, like when I got my biggest client ever through YouTube, you think, oh, that's all I would do is YouTube, but you cannot do that. What I would do is focus on maybe 2 platforms. And what you want to ask yourself, small business owner, look in the mirror, is, and even ask your clients, where do your ideal target market spend the majority of their time? Because a lot of people would do the platforms that they like the best. Like they would say, oh, I just like, TikTok or Snapchat or TikTok because it's fun. But then your clients may be all over 45 and they're on Facebook, right? Or, or I hate, this certain platform, but like LinkedIn, oh my God. If you guys are doing business to business, if you're B2B, anybody on here B2B, if you are, let me know in the chat. You have to be on LinkedIn. I should teach another LinkedIn webinar. I haven't. There is an amazing woman. I'm going to put it in the chat. I want you guys to follow her. If you go to her LinkedIn, her name is Judy Fox. She taught me so much. She teaches all the LinkedIn courses at Social Media Examiner and Social Media Marketing World. A lot of where I get my information from is this annual conference in San Diego, Social Media Marketing World. So one of the things she told me was, make sure on LinkedIn you change your settings to creator mode. I'm like, why? Just like I changed my setting to creator mode on Instagram. When you do that, they allow long form video. So now I can stream video. They circulate you more because when you're a creator, you are giving them more people, more visibility. The other thing, which is the most amazing thing that I did last night, you're ever in bed at 11 o'clock with your laptop thinking of a social media idea that's going to change your life? So one of the things that Judy said was, you can, when you're in creator mode, if you don't know how to do creator mode, go to Social Media Examiner on YouTube, and they have a video showing you how to do that. It's like, it'll take you 5 seconds. It's just like you toggle a switch and then you're a creator. You don't have to like fill out an application or anything. But one of the things that you're able to do is have a clickable hyperlink right on your profile. So if you go to Judy Fox, or if you go to my profile, which is just LinkedIn Debra Deras, I have a link, and my link is the lead generator, Lori.
Okay.
Because you always want to give people a call to action that is a lead generator, getting on the email list. How did you guys find out about this webinar? You got an email. You probably weren't on Instagram or Facebook finding out about this. You got an email. Email does still work, and it still is one of the most highly converting ways to get people to you, right? So then what she was telling me, Judy was saying she was getting 200 prospects a day. Because
Wow.
what she's giving away on LinkedIn, which you might want to get, is what are the viral prompts that you can write on LinkedIn that could also work on Facebook. So she gives you a list, and it's a free download. And then she's going to, of course, upsell you on her email to her courses and programs.
Right,
But
right. Yeah, I was just wondering, and Deborah, you may know, or this may even be a dumb question, not being a social media, but if I was to try to choose whether to create a link that goes some page directly on my website or create a download, do you know if anybody has any preference? Like, people are afraid to do the download, but they tend to follow the links. Are there any rules on how to create the lead generator, and the best one being a download or a link or something on the lead generator? So that's kind of what I'm asking about, is the lead generator. What's the best way to do that?
well, the lead generator is a link, right?
Okay.
But the difference, okay, so here's the difference. This is where most people go wrong, including I was going wrong up until last night at 11 o'clock. So what I did was I say website. If you say website, people are busy. They might want to go to your website. They might not. But if you give them, this is why you need to know your target market. This is why you need to know the problem you solve, whether you're a service business or product business. You put what they want the most, right? And if your lead generator is not going to entice them, they're not going to click. Website doesn't entice me. Okay, it's a website, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm going to get 50 prompts to go viral, I want it, right? So it
Yeah.
has to be a juicy. Think of it, it's the honey that gets the bees to the hive. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does. And I know in the olden days that we used to do things like that. And then there became more choices where it could be a link, it could be a download, it could be an ebook, it could be this. So I didn't know if any were riding to the top at all, you know. Oh, we got a question from Leslie. So let's grab this. You're probably seeing it in the Q&A. So I said, I do ads on social media. However, it could be costly. Any advice? You want to tackle that one, Deborah?
Yeah. And this is like, seriously. So ads can be costly. And that is why I personally do not teach ads, Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads or what I'm teaching is organic. If you're a client of the SBDC, I could definitely work with you and help you and teach you. That's what I do. I teach the organic webinars on how you could use organic is slower. It's kind of like so you want to think of ads as like maybe like surgery, right? If you have plastic surgery, so you have plastic surgery, the weight could be off, right? But you could gain it back as soon as like they change the algorithm, right? So with organic, it's like natural weight loss, but natural weight loss, it's slower. It might be 1 to 2 pounds, 2 pounds a week, but it's consistent and you could keep it off. So organic, it's slower results, but once you learn how to do it and you create the systems. So here's the system is you're connecting with the right people because you're on the strategic right platform. On my vision board, it says, I meet the right people at the right time. Why? Because I'm on the right platform, right? Cool.
Like
then
that.
you're right. You have the right messaging, right? So the right messaging is solving the pain and problem of your unique target market, right? Then you need to show them how you solve the problem. Remember when I was talking about the post? You have an educational post, like Eva Macias is showing that she knows her stuff when it comes to finance. You have a brand awareness post, so they know that you're relatable. You understand them. You know what their needs are. Then you have a call to action post where it's the lead generator. It's having them get on your email list so you can offer them something, right? You can offer them your product, you can offer them your service, you can offer them an upgrade or an upsell kind of thing. And then the next post is you're having social proof, right? Because when they see other people are using your services, they believe it. Like if you go to hire somebody on Upwork to do your social media because you hate it, no problem. Find a great person, but you're going to look at those reviews. You're not going to believe them that say, I'm the best, pay me $15 an hour. You believe that somebody said, I hired so-and-so, and within 3 months, my revenue went like this. Then you believe them, right? So it's really, really important to have, these types of posts, educational, brand awareness, call to action, social proof, and also just relatable posts. Have a picture of you and your cat, or you and your dog, or you gardening or something that humanizes you. So they don't just think you're a robot, or, that somebody that, they can connect with you. This is why big brands have spokespeople, because they know people connect with people. Really, really important. Somebody was asking me about hair extensions for LinkedIn. I don't really think so. So unless you're going to be selling your hair extensions to Ulta, right? Or you're going to be selling your hair extensions, there's a little puppy, and sharing your hair extensions to a corporation or a company, I would really, for hair extensions, focus on Instagram, focus on TikTok, focus on YouTube. And here's the great news, Shanta, is if you created an Instagram reel with hair extensions, you can put that same reel on TikTok. You could put that same reel on YouTube if you wanted to, just for fun. You could put it on Facebook. It may not get a lot of play on Facebook. Facebook is really a pay-to-play platform. Those of you that are on Facebook and you're thinking, oh, I have a business page, I'm going to make money. No. How people make money on Facebook is really if you have like a Facebook group, if you're doing a Facebook Live, if you have a successful Facebook ads, but like somebody said, it's expensive, right? It is expensive. So you want to make sure that you are really focusing your energy and your attention on the platforms that are going to convert.
Gotcha. So I'm going to come and put a circle around organic, because remember, I'm the non-social media person. So when you speak of organic, it's just more taking individual steps on your own. And I'm just trying to define the word organic. So it seems like when you were speaking before, I was paying for ads. But when you're speaking organic, I'm just kind of doing my own, and I'm taking the effort, and I'm following a strategy. That's what's causing it to be a little slower, but consistent and lasting, versus a one-pop ad, and then things could change underneath me. Do I got the right definition for those in the audience that might?
Yes. Organic is where you are a content creator and you're creating content that is valuable.
Okay.
And what makes it valuable is it solves the pain and problem that your target market has. It shows them, not tells them, why your product and service is for them. And it gives them the easy breezy steps to get into your funnel, let's say your funnel, get into your world. Oh, first step, I sign up for the email list. Second step, I book a session with Debra. Third step, I hire Debra for this or that, right?
Yep.
Kind of thing.
Yep. And that brings us to another area that I think, so now that we talk about it, you're kind of touching on messaging. And Debra, tell me what you think on this, or any words of wisdom for the audience. Sometimes I think people get a belief on what the message is based on their own bias and beliefs about their product and service. And it's not necessarily what I know I did, because
so true. Oh yeah.
I started a seminar series after being like the CFO in big turnarounds, where all we talked about was profitability, right, Debra? So I go and I want to go after the small business owner. So I named my webinar, I said, you need to know profitability. And I use all these technical terms, and nobody signs up in these small businesses. And then I'm like going, wait a minute, I think I'm still speaking CFO language. All I did is I did one thing, Debra. I sat and I said, okay, I'm a small business. Think, what am I worried about? What am I worried about? And that was in the middle of the night, right? And I woke up in the next morning and I said, I'm worried about failing. And I rewrote my Debra, all the copy, I kept the same. I changed the headline to said, are you worried that your company may fail? Do you need for sure that you're heading in the right direction? Boom, the webinar.
Wow.
I know I fell victim to my own messaging bias because of my verb. Just like I said to you, what does organic mean? You lost me, Deborah. So words of wisdom to people on how to check their own messaging.
Oh my God, that's such a good point. That reminds me when I had my first company, it was called Passionate Living Now in 1999. I started this coaching business. And I would say, do you want to live passionately? Do you want to live on purpose? Nobody signed up for my workshop. Then I changed it. Do you hate your job? Is your boss driving you crazy? Because we have to meet people where they are. Maybe
Yep.
people are not, self-actualized and they want to live their passion and purpose. They just want to get out of that dead end job, right? So
Yep.
messaging is so important, right? You absolutely want to make sure that you're connected. To answer your question of how to know that messaging, this is where we can use our social media like a focus group, right?
Do
So
tell.
one of the courses that I started was about speaking with confidence on camera, and another one about being a paid speaker. I did not know that that's what my people that were following me wanted to know. I'm teaching mindset, I'm teaching marketing. They're like, but how do you get started? How do you get started as a speaker? How do you be confident on camera? So I just asked, and this is such a great idea for like a post. Remember, I gave you the educational post, the brand awareness post, the call to action post to get the lead magnet, the social proof post. We still need one more. So the fifth post is ask an open-ended question. What
Okay.
is your biggest challenge when it comes to finance? What is your biggest challenge when it comes to social media posting? Once you ask that open-ended question, people are going to tell you what their pains and problems are. And when you do your messaging, you want to use the verbiage that they use, not the verbiage, because like you said, in our business, we're so here. It's like when I was coaching these people with their skincare line, they didn't know whether to call skin protectant. Like nobody's looking for skin protectant. They're looking for sunscreen, not skin protectant, right? We're looking for sunscreen. They're like, but it's not sunscreen. I'm like, it's not what it is. It's what people are looking for. Then you educate people what it is. Do you understand?
Yes, totally. That makes sense. And we're going back into my 20s when I did this survey, my 20s. I know when I had my marketing company, that was my first company, right? So I decided I had to do a survey, not really having any of my business school to become stupid on how surveys should be. I just literally wrote to everybody and said, why do you buy from us? That like simple. Okay, Deborah. So I get all of these responses from the clients and I'm literally scratching out what they're wording because I'm saying it doesn't count. They're like, well, we really like working with you. Oh, that doesn't count. You're really easy to work with. That doesn't count. And I kept saying, Deborah, you're supposed to say we're an inexpensive alternative to an ad agency because that's how I'm marketing myself, right? About the fifth or sixth response, I went, oh my God, they're working with us because they like working with us. So I changed my presentation and said, do you know people really like working with us? We're easy to work with. We listen. And that was how I started presenting myself. And I could not get it around my head that this was what I should use because my bias is that didn't count. But my community, my clients told me it did. So I love using the social media, asking that question because it gives you such feedback. Okay, Deborah, I can't believe we're coming near the end. You and I could talk forever. I got a good thing for you. I know.
No way, Lori. Remember I said I have nothing to say today. I told Lori, I'm like, I have nothing to say.
To everybody in the audience, Deborah first says, Lori, I really don't have anything to say. And I'm like, Deborah, we're going to have an open conversation. Be great because I already know it. So here's my last one I'm going to throw at you. Okay, Deborah, I came up with, this is a story I forgot, but I was talking to a client yesterday and for some reason we were discussing this, but they were trying to move towards a goal in business they had not achieved yet, right? And I told them this story. So back in the days when I was probably in my 40s, what I did is I did my public speaking and my writing to market myself. Great marketing, right? That's how I it. I talked about the fact that I sold intellect and I could give samples of my intellect by speaking at business associations.
Right.
And Deborah, I decided I wanted to then become a paid speaker and a paid writer, but I was having a really hard time because for so long I did it for free. I was not moving over that edge. So you know what I said to myself, Deborah? I said, this is years ago, I said to myself, I have a goal this year. My goal is to make $1 from speaking. And then I went on to making about 30,000 that year just from my speaking. Then the next year I said, I have a goal. I want to make $1 from writing. And I think sometimes it's a mindset question. Sometimes when we feel like we're hitting a wall with our mind and we're not getting somewhere, we maybe have to, and an old thing that we used to say is, how do you eat an elephant? One chunk at a time, one piece at a time, right? That's people
Right.
that haven't heard of that. But sometimes you have to do what you and I know in NLP called chunking down, just taking, right?
Yes.
So let's end with a mindset for success with chunking it down to one achievable small goal. I'll let you take it from there, Deborah.
Oh, I love chunking down. So,
So,
what I and I do this with myself. What if you wanted to chunk it down? I want to see if I could give you a visual aid. It doesn't need to be a high tech thing. I have this weekly plan that I got at the dollar store for 99 cents, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You can literally put Monday educational posts, Tuesday brand awareness posts. What makes my business unique? Wednesday call to action post. How am I going to, to drive traffic to your lead gener? Thursday, social proof post, do a testimonial. Friday, what did I say? Oh, ask a open-ended question post to get the focus group. There's your social media content calendar. And here's the thing, set yourself up for success. If you want to chunk down and Monday through Friday is too much for you, start with Monday, Wednesday. That's what I do with the gym. Like I didn't start with 7 days a week. Let's start with doing 3 days a week. When you get consistent with that, do 4. When you get consistent with that, do 5. Right? Set yourself up for success. People are asking for my contact information. I put my email in there. If you are a client of the SBDC, which I highly recommend, go to smallbizla.org to register. You get great information, great webinars, great. There's all these amazing consultants on every topic, sales, finance, like Lori, amazing people, social media. And I could, just email me your business name, what center you're registered with, and I can help you. It's prepaid by your tax dollars, no fees. I'm here to assist. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah. And just to kind of come full circle, chunking down is about taking just the smallest part of the goal. And Deborah, we get so like we want to achieve especially, most of the entrepreneurs by nature are overachievers, right? I bet you in our audience, if I said right now, everybody in the audience, if you got a little bit of overachiever in you, raise your hand.
Right.
I guess most people got their hand raised, right? And so as an overachiever, we kind of reach for the stars and then we get overwhelmed. We don't take action steps. We don't get started. That's why I love chunking down, because it gets you moving. It gets you
Yes.
moving right away in
Yes.
the steps. And sometimes, guys, you don't know exactly where you want to be until you start moving slightly in a direction. And then everything becomes evident. And I'm sure social media is the same way. You start doing this, you see the reactions of your audience, you realize this works versus this works. Sometimes we got to take a step, an unknown step, to get more what I call data points, because I love data, right? So I always, in fact, I'll even say to somebody, and I do this sometimes personal, people will be like, do you want to go over here to do this? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, you didn't give me enough data points yet to make a decision, So sometimes we really need data points. And so when we're stuck, I feel like it can either be we're taking on too big of a goal and we're kind of making our energy not being able to move, or we just don't have enough data. And data might mean we got to take a little tiny step to get some more experience to know which direction to go to. But, I'm going to throw it back to you, but I'm going to add, I think at the end of the day, if there is some truth to this, Deborah, for me personally, if you take a step back and you say, there's magic fairy dust in the world, I'm going to be happy, I'm going to enjoy the journey, I'm not going to be about the outcome, and I'm just going to open up the possibilities and dream, that takes you in a mind space and lets you do something magical. I don't know what it is, Deborah, but magic happens in that space. Your thoughts?
Well, here's the thing. I think why people don't start is they think that they're going to make a mistake, that people are going to like judge them. Oh, I failed, or I'm going to be embarrassed. Guess what? If nobody's following you on social media, if you put something out there, no one's going to see it. So you don't have to worry. People are like, oh my God, what if I put something out there and it's wrong? Well, if you don't have a big following, the 4 people, your neighbor, your mother, your cousin, it's not going to matter. You could just delete it. So I think one of the greatest things you could do for yourself is to let go of perfectionism,
Yep.
because social media is an art as well as a science. And really, how you're going to learn, it's kind of like, any sport that you try, you have to start off basic and then build yourself up. You're not going to be a professional cyclist when you first start, a professional swimmer. Just get in the pool and start swimming.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Like Nemo.
So Debra, we got to have you back on, because every time you're on, I have a blast. Our audience has a blast. We talk about all kinds of wonderful things. It's great. I just saw Randy. I got to make a mention on this just because I have to. So Randy put about the colored dress or blouse is gorgeous. Okay, guys.
Very
So
pretty.
I got to take a second because it was mentioned and Lauren's laughing right now. So I got to take a second. I met somebody. See, she's coming here and laughing. Okay, so I met somebody. Then I meet these people in the RV parks all the time that are retired, but they have this wonderful skill, right? And so I met this woman that designed custom wedding gowns, and I talked with her and I gave her all my measurements, and she's making all of the custom shirts that you're seeing. Randy, thank you for noticing. The last 3 weeks, her name's Christy. She does an incredible job. She did my measurements. Everything was custom made. I picked the fabric, the cuffs, every single bit. She made skirts. And of course, I got to tell you guys, anybody who's been around me for a long time knows my cat. She did a custom fitting and made a sweater just for my cat. And my cat is not as excited about her custom fitted sweater as I am about my shirts. So there, thank you for mentioning that, Randy. I'm very happy with my little custom clothes from my friend, who charged nothing, by the way, just nothing to be able to do this. So if you guys want custom clothes, I got the connection now. But anyway, Debra, thank you so much. You've got to come on again and again. I'm always going to be bugging you to come back on the show, except that is going to happen about every couple months. You're going to get an email and I'm going to say, Debra, you got to come back on the show, because I just adore hearing from you. And to those of you who sell anything to do with doggy and mamas for dogs, Debra's a new mom. So
Yeah.
go.
Oh, and Davino just got on Instagram. Davino the Yorkie. Follow him. I'm gonna get him to pay my mortgage. This is my new place that I'm moving into, and it has the ocean on one side and Marina Del Rey and the marina on the other side. So Davino is gonna need to pay the rent.
That is great. Well, Lauren, Debra and I could go on forever. We got to cut this. We're out of time today. Debra, many thanks for you for coming on. I'm going to pass this back to Lauren, and I'm going to say thank you we had a bunch of new people today. We had high numbers. Thank you to our new people. Thank you to our frequent flyers that come here every week. So happy to have you on the show, and tune in next week for another episode of Small Biz Talk with your host, Lori Williams. Lauren, I'm going to leave you to finish everything up and make sure everybody has a way to get in touch with me and in touch with Debra. We're here to help you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Lori. Bye, Debra. Take care. All right, everyone. I am adding my email to the chat. Please, if you'd like to get in contact with Lori or Debra, you can send me an email. I did list Debra's email earlier on, so you can grab that as well. Thank you again for joining us for another episode of Small Biz Talk, solutions for your small business. We'll see you next week. Bye.